Hey guys, do. You may not know right where you're going, but I do. And all those times you wasn't chosen, see, I'll make it up to you. All of those feelings you're not showing, when your river's overflowing, it's the truth, I swear to you. I do. Hey guys, I know that it's a little early, 2 minutes early, but I'm gonna get started in a second. This is a hypnotherapy talk, and today we're gonna be talking about purpose and finding your purpose and figuring out what it is what you came here to do. So I'm just waiting for a couple of minutes, and then I'll start talking a little bit about it. But I hope everybody's having a good night. We're just gonna have a simple conversation tonight. And if you're joining in for the first time and you've never been here before, then I encourage you and welcome you to please interact and talk with me. But we're going to be talking a little bit about purpose and just making sure that we know what we came here to do. And it's pretty much the same for everybody, believe it or not. Talking about purpose tonight, and how hypnotherapy can actually help you to find your purpose and to find what your higher self came here to do. And I look forward to having this conversation. It's like 30 seconds to go. I have all this stuff coming up on my screen, but it's October 7th and we're talking about purpose. So if you're on here with me, I can't always see everybody who's on here, but if you're on here with me, please feel free to share, to tap, so that I have the likes, and the likes allow TikTok to boost my video so more people can have access to what we're talking about tonight. Yes, because tonight we are talking about purpose. So, yeah. You may not know right where you're going, but... And hopefully my buffering tonight works well. A couple of times for the last couple of lives I've had, not everybody, but a few people say that it was buffering or that they were having trouble with it. It was choppy or whatnot. So tonight we're talking a little bit about purpose and finding your purpose, walking in your purpose. And that's like really the key thing. So, all right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. Hey guys, it's Sarah from Green Hypnotherapy, that hypnotherapist chick, that hypnosis. And tonight we're going to be talking about purpose. So if you're on the live, let me know you're on here so that I know that people are on here. I see a few people that are joined and that are on there. And sometimes it shows me the numbers. But we're talking about how hypnotherapy can help you discover your life purpose, discover what you came here to do, and actually get into a place of living a purpose-filled life. A lot of times people struggle to find their purpose. I had a conversation today with a young man, and we had, that's what kind of prompted me wanting to have this talk. But a lot of times, we come here to this planet, to this plane, and we don't know why we're here. And we struggle with it, and we wait for everybody else to tell us. We wait for our parents to tell us what our purpose is. We wait for a preacher or a minister to tell us what our purpose is, a teacher, a counselor. And the only one who can define your purpose for you is you. And believe it or not, your higher self already knows why you came to this plane. Your highest self, sorry guys, getting a call. Your highest self knows exactly why you came to this plane and what you came here to do. And with hypnotherapy, we're able to actually do something that's very akin to a regression session that allows you to talk to your highest self to give you direction about why you came here, or how to use your gifts is a better way to say it, in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish. But in talking about purpose, I realized that a lot of times we don't know our purpose because we've been told that, especially here in the West, we've been told that our purpose is to get money, to grow in wealth, and now is to, stun on the gram or to be seen, to influence others. And the truth is, everybody's an influencer, but nothing that is physically tangible is really going to be anybody's purpose on this plane. Everybody's purpose is pretty much the same, and that's to have the experience of being God in human form and actually just living, just living your life. And so often we complicate things. We really do. We complicate things. Things are supposed to be so simple. I think the people that have it right are the children. Children, they automatically know how to live in the moment and how to be present and be aware. But as we get older and we become adults, we start to complicate things and think that we have to be so perfect. And nobody is perfect. When thinking about your purpose and your life's purpose and your principles towards your purpose, there are certain things you do have to kind of take into account. And one of those things is, what are my principles? What is my mission statement? And your mission statement is basically that statement that you have about your life, who you are. What is your mission here? Everybody's been given gifts. Everyone's been given talents. And how we choose to use those gifts and talents is up to us. So, but if you're just joining the talk, please go ahead, give me some likes, tap that screen so that it boosts up, because the more it taps, it creates those little hearts. I'm learning how all this works, but what it does is it actually boosts the video up so that more people have access to it. And when it boosts the video up so more people have access to it, then they're able to join in the conversation and we can have like a full discussion. But we're talking about life's purpose tonight, and how hypnotherapy can actually help you discover your life purpose, but also what you'd have to do to start walking in your life's purpose. I want you to understand your purpose is up to you. Nobody can tell you what your purpose is per se. For instance, I can't look at you and say, oh, your purpose is to be a nurse or your purpose is to be a doctor. I can't tell you that, but I can look at you and say, you're God in human form. And your purpose is to actually have the experience of being very human on this plane. I can look at you and say that you're having a human experience, and how you decide to have that human experience is up to you. I can also give you examples of a life's mission statement, how to go ahead. Thank you, Becca. Nice to see you on here. Got you. I can definitely give you ideas of how to write a mission statement, but your mission statement is up to you. And tonight I'll share my mission statement, my life's mission statement with you guys, so that you have like a better idea of how the mission statement idea works. So understand, when you're trying to figure out your life's purpose and you're trying to, I wonder if, let me see something. When you're trying to figure out your life's mission statement and your life's purpose, you have to, think to yourself, a few questions. So, I just learned that I can tap myself. I'm gonna go ahead and boost myself a little bit, guys, before I jump into this. It's only 5 minutes in, so I want to go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's boost myself up a little bit. Okay, trying to get myself to 500. That way, it boosted up. There we go. Okay. So, life's mission statement. So, in order to figure out your life's mission statement, one of the things that you have to do is figure out what principles you follow, right? So 3 of the most important decisions you will ever make in life is the God you choose to serve. Whether it doesn't matter. This isn't really a religious discussion. The God you choose to serve, the person you choose to marry or become in relationship with, and then the truth that you believe, because that's what you're going to devote your life to. If you're trying to figure out your life's purpose and you know those 3 things, you're already halfway there. When you start to figure out, what beliefs, what faith or religious beliefs you're going to follow, that's going to set up a lot of your moral beliefs. That's why it's so important. It doesn't matter if you're atheist, and it doesn't matter if you're Christian or Muslim or anything in between. What matters is that you know that these are your moral beliefs. So the reason that we say the God you choose to serve, that could even be yourself. So sometimes we've been still having a couple of brownouts. Hopefully, okay, there we go. So when you're trying to figure out your life purpose, you have to understand that the morals that you guide your life by are going to strongly guide how you perceive everything in existence, how you even perceive yourself. So when you're learning about who you are, what your life's purpose is, and the change you're wishing to affect on yourself, on the world, the deity you choose to serve, or the faith you choose to believe in, is a huge thing. The other thing is the person that you choose to love, that you choose to connect with, marry. It's one of the reasons why it's so important to be so aware of who you enter a relationship with. The person that you end up in a relationship with can either further you towards your goal, or they can completely retard you, pull you all the way back, and hold you back from reaching that purpose in life that you've set here to do. A lot of us have been in relationships that have been negative and they've wounded or scarred us. And if we don't heal those wounds, then we carry them on into every relationship that we go into, whether it's personal or whether it's business. And so when you are very aware and very careful of the relationships you enter into, it allows you to have better boundaries. And it allows you to be very aware of where you're sending your energy and what energy you're receiving. So when I say the second most important decision you will ever make is who you choose to love and enter into partnership with, that I cannot stress that enough. And I actually think that that's probably the most important, because once again, the people that you enter relationship with are either going to boost you up, encourage you, build you up, pour positive energy into you, or they're going to pull you back, hold you back from what you're supposed to be doing. And then the third most important thing is the truth you choose to believe, especially about yourself. If you believe that you are inherently good, that you are a great person, if you believe that you are, you're flawed, you're not perfect, but you're trying, if you believe that you're capable, if you believe that you're worthy, what is your truth? Then that's what you're going to project into the world. So you have to make sure that what you believe about yourself and about the world as a whole really aligns with what you say your mission statement is. I told you guys I was going to read my mission statement to you, so I'm going to basically paraphrase it to you. My mission statement for myself, my purpose on this planet, is to really be present in the moment, to bring value to my community using my gifts and talents, and using my gifts and talents to prosper myself, prosper those connected to me, and to spread into, to give impact to the rest of the world, positive impact. For me, how that looks is practicing hypnotherapy and also traditional therapy. How that looks for me is making sure that I use my life and my influence to positively affect those around me. So what I mean by that is, it's as simple as how you live your life every day. If I'm walking on the street and I see somebody that is falling on the ground and I reach out a hand, extend a hand to help them up, well, then I've just acted out my personal mission statement. That was my purpose for that time and that place, to show that person kindness, to show that person love. If I go ahead and I have a gift, let's say I have a gift for music. I can play any instrument, or I can sing, or I can beatbox, or I can rap, whatever it is. If that's my gift, I can use that gift, that talent, any way I see fit in order to meet my mission statement and my purpose. So for people who are trying to figure out their purpose on this earth, know your mission statement, write it down, write down who you are and focus on that. Because if you know who you are, no one can tell you who you are not. If you know who you are, no one can come in and try to tell you who you are. When you know the core of who you are, your core principles, there is no other religion, there's no other being, there's no situation that's going to take you out of who you are, because you're firm in it. You're solid, right? So when learning about yourself and trying to figure out your purpose, know those three things. The faith you have, faith or deity, God you believe in, even if it's just the universe, that's grand. You are the universe, right? Know and be very aware of who you enter relationship with. Enter into every relationship with your eyes wide open. It's okay to lead with your heart, but you also have to guard it, because remember, who you enter into relationship with is going to determine how far you go or how far you get pulled back away from your purpose. And third, know your truth. Speak your truth. Know who you are. When you are so firm and sure in who you are, no one can take that away from you. Right? So when it comes to the truth, I'm a believer that the truth can be like a jewel. And my truth, from what I can see from this angle, I may only be able to see one facet, but you on the other side can see another facet. So we're always seeking and welcoming truth, and always being willing to recognize that our version of the truth may not be somebody else's version of the truth, because we can't see the big picture, right? The way we view ourselves is our truth. I know that I'm a kind, loving person, but I am sure that I'm a villain in somebody's story. And that's okay. Nobody can come and tell me that I'm a bad person, because I know I'm not. So when you know your truth and you're willing to stand firm in that and speak your truth, there's so much power in that. So with knowing your purpose, also, I want you to think about that thing that you wake up thinking about, that you go to sleep thinking about, that burns your buttons when it's done incorrectly, that thing, that topic that just drives you. What lights your passion? What are you passionate about? If I sit up here and I tell you that I absolutely love playing basketball and I never play, then I'm probably not passionate about it, right? What is that thing that you can't not do? Because chances are it's tied into your purpose. If you have a passion for animals and seeing an animal on TV just makes you, it makes you just excited and joyful. And when you see an animal mistreated, it burns your buttons and it pulls you down, then more than likely part of your purpose that you came here to do may have something to do with animals. And it may not be your career or your profession, but it may be simply raising awareness, showing love, spreading information about it, right? I don't believe that anybody has just one reason why they came here. I don't believe so. We're all multifaceted, right? You may have 2, 3, 4, 5 gifts, talents that the world needs. And if you just sit on those talents, if you sleep on yourself, if you saw my earlier video from a couple days ago, if you sleep on yourself and you sleep on those talents, you're doing yourself a disservice, you're doing me a disservice, and you're doing the world a disservice, because only you can do that thing like you can do it. When you know who you are, when you know your truth, the truth about yourself, when you speak your truth, when you live your truth, and you do it with the mindset that this is part of my purpose because this is my life principle, this is part of my personal mission statement, there's so much power there. You find yourself prospering even when you're not trying to necessarily prosper. It just happens. Our life purpose is really fed by our life principles. You feel me? So before I continue on, if you guys will, below, tell me hi, say you're here, let me know you're here so that I do know you're here. I see that there are people watching and stuff like that, but I want to interact with you guys and I want to actually build a community. My hope and my goal is to build a community of like-minded people who are actually wanting to help to, one, raise the vibration of the earth around us, to help to, hola, Rocky, Resindis, hola, Becca. Hey, girl, love the message. Thank you, Chris. I want to say in there, right? Chris Park Manifest. Oh, I love it. So the thing is, my hope is that we are able to build a community of people who actually want to see other people rise up and to elevate, because the world is ready. I don't think the world has been this ready, if ever, in like 10,000, 20,000 years, where we actually are, people more and more are working on their hearts, working on healing. When we heal individually, we heal the collective. If each person is consistently saying, you know what, I just want to be the best version of myself I can be right now, then we start to heal the collective and the world will begin to change into this beautiful image that we hope to see. But that's my heart, that's my hope, that's my goal, to create that kind of community. As far as knowing what your purpose is, as far as building your purpose, knowing who you are is going to be key. Like I said before, everybody has the same purpose in the sense that we are God having a human experience. Source put a piece of Source's self inside of each and every one of us, and we are having this experience. And one day we will return to that collective and we will share these experiences. And when you use your gifts and your talents to have that experience, it enriches you. It enriches the world around you. So I stated before, the key thing is knowing your core mission statement, knowing what you stand for. And when you know what you stand for, when you know who you are, no one can tell you who you are not. When you know who and what you are, no one can tell you that you are something that you're not. So if there's any questions, you guys feel free to ask away, because I can talk at the camera pretty much for an hour. I can. But I do want to interact with you guys and see what you guys think. What do you think about this? Anybody out there? What do you think about this topic? I would love to know. And I will say this too. One of the things about purpose, knowing your purpose and walking in your purpose, is understanding that we're pretty much all here to be service to one another as well as to ourselves. When we learn how to serve, and I don't mean live in servitude, but actually be of service to each other, it's when you see the God in people, it's easy to serve people, whether it be something as simple as offering them food or clothing, or whether it be something as simple as offering a word of encouragement. A lot of things are service, and you don't have to have money. You don't have to have put high position in order to do so. I believe as a collective, we are ready. Chris, I agree with you as well. I believe that we are ready. I think that we're all starting to find each other, and our tribes are becoming more evident, especially as we begin to step into and speak our own truths. But I believe as a collective, we are ready. And I think a lot of us are starting to kind of get to this place where we will only accept the best around us, the best energy. We will only accept energy that vibrates and fits with us around us. And as we get more to that, we start drawing more tribe to us. I have 5 children. It's so hard to live in my purpose right now, or is that my excuse? Ooh, that's a good question. 5 children, girl. Okay, I am impressed. Listen, I'm always impressed by anybody who has one child, but 5 children, living in your purpose. Your children are part of your purpose. They are. And if you're doing your best to raise your children with love and with intention, especially intention to help them become, to learn the things you didn't know so that they can follow their purpose, then you're living your purpose. And the more that you share this and you implant that into your children, that love and that care into your children, then what greater purpose really is there? I think that mothers don't get enough credit for what is done, because as a woman, we are portals. We're portals for life to come here. Becca said, I believe you just have to take a different approach. And that's true. It's like I had a mentor many, many years ago who she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She had 5 children, as a matter of fact. And she has a master's degree in counseling, but she put all that aside so that her children, they ended up homeschooling their kids so that her children would have the best experience that they could as they grew up. And they raised some beautiful, beautiful humans. Yes, one of my children, her teacher said she is amazing, and it made me smile. She's a reflection of you. Yeah. I mean, who you are, you're pouring into your children. And now it's the ripple effect. It's the seed effect. You have your children, and they're like seeds that you're sending out into the world, and they're going to bear fruit too. And people are going to look at them and say, man, your mom, your dad, they did a great job. Man, you must have had a good mother, kind of thing. I have so many talents, and I sit and it frustrates every day. Write your talents down. Write them down. You're probably going to have a list that's a whole page long. Write them down and just pick one. Just one. I know it's hard. Talented. I know that it's very, very to only pick one talent, but pick one and just practice that talent for 30 days. Show people on TikTok what you can do. Whatever talent it is you have, if it's singing, if it's art, if it's our arts and craft, if it's sewing, whatever your talent may be, just do that one talent for 30 days and show the world. And it could be for 10 minutes. So hard. Yes, I will start. It could be for 10 minutes, or you could be showing your talent for a whole hour on a live. I'm still discovering my talents, and you are going to keep discovering them your whole life. Who knew? I mean, I didn't even know about hypnotherapy 22 years ago. I didn't know that I'd be using my skill with my voice. And I didn't know that I would be using patience is even a talent and a gift, because a lot of people don't have it, right? I didn't know that I would be using my natural God-given gifts and talents to help people find their purpose, to help people heal. I had no idea. When I went to college and I'm sitting in those classes for psychology and communications and everything, I had no idea that we'd have social media. I'm not going to tell how old I am, but I had no idea we would have social media. I feel like a late bloomer. And that's common. But what is age? Would you, okay, sequoia trees, right? They start out very small. And the whole time they're sending their roots down into the ground, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then one day, 10, 15 years later, they pop up. Biggest tree out of everything. The other trees probably look at them and be like, you're a late bloomer. But guess what? Strongest, tallest trees that can withstand hundreds of years. If we didn't know who and what we are, if we didn't know our age, if we didn't know what age we are, what age would we be? What age would we be? We go by what society tells us our ages are supposed to act. I feel like I'm walking in my talents later in life. Yeah. And guess what? I bet you're going to be one, and you probably are, one of the strongest, hardest working in your field. Because now you're more determined. You had to work for it. Oh, so beautiful. I'm about to cry. It's okay if you want to cry, Chris. You can cry, baby. It's all right. Because sometimes we hold those emotions pent up here in our chest. We hold them pent up in our solar plexus. And it's somewhere in our body, and we have to release it. You don't want to hold it. You don't want to hold it in your body. And I want to tell you guys, everybody has gifts and talents and multiple. Do not be discouraged by seeing all these people that seem to have it all together or seem to have it all right. I promise you, nobody has it all together. Not one person alive. Because if they got it all together over here, something's falling apart over there. I heard a speech given by Shonda Rhimes, and she talks about that. She said that thank you, Becca, for the rose. And you said you're laughing out loud, Chris. Yes. She was saying that she's so here in business, but people ask her, how can you be this great mom and great in business and everything else? She said, I'm not. She said, if business is doing great, household is falling. If household's doing great, business is falling. And she had to learn to be okay with that and to put her priority where she really wanted to see the growth. Remember, where focus goes and energy goes, it grows, right? Where we put our attention and our focus, we flow energy into it. If I put my energy and my focus into myself, into my business, into my life, then I'm in a positive way, I'm going to flow energy into it. If you put your focus and your energy into your children are going to grow. Just always remember, you have to also do it for yourself. A lot of us didn't have adequate parentage. Our parents did the best they could, but they didn't know everything any more than we know everything, right? And so some of us are having to reparent ourselves. Some of us are having to give ourselves that loving care that we'd so freely give to a child, but we didn't realize we have to give it to us too. When you start to give yourself that love, that care, you're going to find that you flourish in ways you never imagined. So set your focus, write your mission statement, your personal mission statement, write it down. Write it down. When you write down your personal, you're so welcome. Thank you too, Chris. When you write, thank you for participating. I appreciate it. Thank you too, Becca. Thank you too, Unique Flyer. When you write down your personal mission statement and you know who you are, what you came here to do, or what you stand for, better yet, then you will know what you're here to do. It really is that simple. We do complicate things because we all think that we're supposed to be, we're supposed to do more than what we're doing. But what you're doing at this very moment is enough. You are enough. I'm mad I'm at work. I want to stay. No, I'm not going to say. I was going to say, tell your work, be like, I'll be there in a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Go handle your business. Go do your work. I appreciate you dropping in. When you actually start to pour into yourself, though, when you pour into yourself and you write your mission statement down and you know what you stand for, you're going to find that you start to boost up. You start to feel more empowered, more and more empowered. And that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be, that place of empowerment, because you're worthy. You're worthy of every good thing. Like that's going to be my message to for until I die. That's going to be my message forever to everybody. You are worthy. You're worthy of healing. You're worthy of growth. You're worthy of happiness. You're worthy of self-love. You are worthy of all good things. When you start to realize that and you start to understand that, like understand that, you become it. That will be your truth. You will accept nothing less than what you are worthy of. So I say that. Understand when you write down your gifts, your talents, and your core mission statement, I am worthy. Yes, I'm worthy of all good things. I proclaim it. Yes. Look at yourself in the mirror and say that stuff every day. Say that ish every day. I am worthy. Tell yourself what you're worthy of. If you're looking for a new, better relationship, you're worthy of it. If you desire to attract more wealth and finances, you're worthy of it. If you desire a different career, you're worthy of it. If you desire home and family, you're worthy of it. I'm writing it down right now for real. Okay, I love it. Make a TikTok, tag me, please. Follow me. I'll follow you back. The thing that I hope that we all understand is that our life's purpose is simply to enjoy and to experience, to use every gift and talent that we've been given. Imagine how different the world would be if people were actually doing what they love to do. With harm to none, Jeffrey Dahmer. But imagine if everybody was using, Becca said, get it, Chris? Imagine if everybody was using their gifts and their talents, the things that they are passionate about every day. How happy we would all be. Imagine if we were so aware and so wise about who we enter a relationship with. And we entered into relationships that were fulfilling and uplifting and loving and caring. Imagine if everybody, chose, we started to pay attention to the dogma that we follow. We pay attention to what we say we believe when it comes to religion or faith. And we evaluate, does it align with our personal mission statement? Imagine. The system is set up to distract us, though we get boggled down. That's true. That's so true. Becca, that's so true. The system is set up to keep us distracted, and it is a battle. But the thing is, the biggest battle is in our mind. If you can guard your mind and pay attention to the thoughts that come to you, most of the thoughts that we have aren't even our own. They're coming from media, social media, the news, people that raised us. They're coming from church and from all the other stuff that we were, exposed to. And their thoughts, we can pick and choose which thoughts we allow to stay in there. You can let the negative thoughts go away. The battlefield's always in the mind. Always. And if you get on that battlefield and you go there knowing your personal mission, you go there knowing who and what you are, it gets more and more difficult for negative thoughts, overcoming the negative mindset. Yes, ma'am. Overcoming those thoughts in order to accomplish what we're supposed to, because it's so easy to think that things are hard. It's so easy to think that all this negative is going to happen. But if you give attention to that, you're automatically going to feel self-defeated. Nobody can break you down when you guard this. And this. Guard your heart and your mind. Guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. Guard your mind and the thoughts that come to you. And I speak to myself. I'm not perfect at this. I'm still learning. That's one of the reasons why I went into hypnotherapy, because I had things that I had to heal. And after my first session, it was so mind-blowing. I'm like, oh, I got to learn this, right? And once you start to realize that when you control your mind, it becomes dang near impossible for anybody else to come in and alter that, or to mind wipe, or to mind control you. We're all subject to programming. We are. That's what media is. Television, news, radio, all that stuff. I mean, it's programming. But when you control this, there's power there. There's so much power there. And I know that it's not always easy. It gets easier The more you practice it, it gets easier. It becomes more and more difficult for other people to tell you anything negative about yourself because you're not going to believe it. Once again, when you know your truth, you know who you are, and you speak your truth, oh, there's so much power there. There's so much power. So I encourage you all, write your mission statement. Write down the core of who you are, what you believe, and what you stand for. Write that down. The next thing, write down your gifts and talents. You write down those gifts and talents. That way you know what you're working with. That's your toolbox. Your gifts and talents are your toolbox. That's your tools in your toolbox. If you have a gift for speaking to people and encouraging people, that's a gift and a talent. If you have an ability to recognize patterns, and it's a gift where you can recognize numerical patterns, guess what? There's so many different fields you can use that in. If you have a gift for seeing the beauty in the world and you're able to translate that into painting, drawing, any type of art, music, that's a gift and a talent. You can use your tools to build or tear down. Choose to use them to build, especially to build yourself and the life you desire. If your gift and talent is simply to love people, because it always reminds me of the movie The Matrix. That's one of my favorite movies. And in it, there's the little girl, Sanji, is that her name? In the last movie. And her only purpose is to paint a beautiful sunrise. And she has to wait to the very end of the film in order to use her gift and talent. But it makes the most beautiful sunrise on a new day, right? We all have something that we are programmed with that just comes naturally, and we've been doing that too. Mine too. It's your favorite movie too, girl. I love that movie. When we come into the awareness of what we are capable of, and we're able to use those capabilities to bring ourselves up, there's no better feeling, because it just flows out of you. Your gifts and your talents will just flow out of you with ease. Nobody will have to force it. It just happens when you're not even thinking about it. Yeah. I have this thing about trees. I really love trees. I love nature. I love being out in nature. And I live in Florida, and I see like all the development they're doing and the trees they're cutting down, and it burns my buttons. And so I made one video about it, and that video got such a huge response because apparently there's a lot of people like me who love the trees, right? I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. Then I got referred to all these other creators who speak for the trees. And that's their passion. And that's where they're making the most impact, the most influence. Because that's what makes their heart beat. When it makes your heart beat, I see you laughing, Becca. When it makes your heart beat, when you wake up thinking about it, you're driving down the street thinking about it, you're walking in a store thinking about it, it's something that's on your mind and it's on your heart. Well, you're able to use that's a passion. And you're going to have multiple ones of those throughout your life. You're able to use your gifts and talents and combine them with your passion. Now, in astrology, we would say, look at where your Jupiter is and look at where your Venus is. And your Venus is going to be what you're passionate about. Whatever house and sign that Venus sign is in, that's what you're passionate about. Your Jupiter sign is going to be where you can expand it. Your Saturn sign is going to be the hardest area that you got to work on. But once you work on it, you master it. You find where those things are. You'll probably find a lot about your passion. If you have it in the 5th house and that's family, then maybe you're passionate about family matters as a whole. If your Venus is in your 7th house and it's partnership and marriage, then maybe you're passionate about, I'm talking about mine right now. Maybe you're passionate about marriages. One of the things that I've always been passionate about is family and marriage, families and marriages. I'm still here. I had a dirty diaper to change. Handle your business, my dear. Handle your business. That's part of what makes you a great mom. You take care of your kids, right? When you just make sure you always take care of yourself too. That's it. That's what I always tell moms. Take care of you. You got to put your own mask on as well. So I appreciate you joining, even though I know you've got little ones running around. So when it comes down to your passion and your purpose, being able to combine it. I'm trying. When it comes down to your passion and your purpose, being able to combine it is one of my passions is families and marriage. And because I believe strongly that when you help to heal the mother, it ripples through. Help to heal the mother, the children are going to grow up healed and whole. You heal the mother, she's definitely going to be very aware and careful of who she joins with. Well, you heal the woman, she's going to be very careful with who she joins with and who she marries. And then the father ends up, having that impact because now the husband has that love. He's getting it home from a healed, whole partner. And whether you're in a same sex marriage or um, hetero marriage or whatever it may be, you may end up being, you said your Jupiter's in Libra in third house. You may end up being able to be a better partner when you heal yourself. Jupiter is in Libra. Ooh, in the third house. Okay. All right. Okay. So, Libra is all about balance, right? But Libra is also known as being the sign of love, because Libra and Taurus are both ruled by Venus. And so you would have, hold up one second, my dear. Okay. Venus is in Jupiter, in Gemini, 11th house. Okay, so that's going closer to your soul's purpose. Gemini is what is that? That's the sign. I did not come on here to do astrology talk, but here I go. Gemini is the sign of partnership, duality, work in the room, being able to, kind of flirt around and being able to communicate, right? So that's communication. That's ruled by Mercury. And so that's going to be anything doing super mom. I love it. That's going to be anything. Now y'all got to go follow each other because that's what we do. We create community, right, Becca? Right, Chris? Go follow each other. So when it comes down to it, yes, Venus in Gemini in 11th house, that's going closer towards, that's 10th house is about your career, but 11th house is going more into soul's purpose, but also business and how to combine that soul purpose with business, because 12th house is self-actualization. So that's where they really meet. And so I got to scroll back. Oh, you're a very good communicator. Nice. And you probably communicate with a lot of love and tact. And you're probably very careful about the words you say, because Geminis are the sign of Gemini being ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the ultimate communicator, but Mercury can also have to be very careful with their words, because their words can be misconstrued, especially when it goes into retrograde, because it becomes the trickster, teaching lessons through tricks. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you probably speak things with love and a lot of tact, not so much the bulldozer. Not the bazooka, but more of like the sniper rifle, saying things with very clear intent and trying to be very, very understood. Yes, I'm a preschool teacher, so surrounded by children. Okay. What's in your house, your Cancer house? My Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Okay, so Jupiter in Sagittarius is so Jupiter's the planet of expansion. I wonder what house it's in, Becca. Sagittarius is that fun-loving sign. They're usually very musical people or music-oriented, but they're the fun-loving. That's a fire sign. So it's very expensive. It's very quick to be able to. How did I get into astrology? We're gonna do a whole different live for this, because I could go about this for a while. But Jupiter being in Sagittarius, depending on what house it's in, Becca, it's going to be it's going to expand whatever is in that house. 12th house Cancer. So Cancer in your 12th house, so your self-actualization, 12th house in Cancer rather. That's with that self-actualization, remember, Cancer is the sign of motherhood. So your children children in general are probably going to be you're a preschool teacher. It's going to be a huge part of your life, but it's more so how you can help them to find their self-actualization as well. It just said 14 degrees. So on the wheel of the house, it depends on how when you were born, but let's say that you see a circle and there's these little slices of pie. Each slice is a different house. So you want to look for, usually as they write it in Roman numerals, you want to look for that, and then it'll be able to tell you which house it's in. And that means it's 14 degrees inside of that house. And depending on how many degrees is inside of the house determines how much of an influence it is. So look for the Roman numeral to see what number house that is, Becca. It was meant to, I guess. So oh, that was Cancer. So, yes, so being able to help children to find self-actualization, but you would also find your self-actualization within children, within motherhood in particular. Because once again, Cancer is the sign of motherhood, it's the sign of house and home and hearth, but it's also the sign of emotions, deep emotions, especially. All the water signs deal with emotions. Pisces more so really deals with mystical, like deep emotions mentally. Cancer deals with deep emotions of the heart. Scorpio deals with deep emotions within the roots and within the sacral area. So think more sexual. So yeah. So when dealing with Cancer, understand that's the deep emotions here. And you'd probably be very good at soothing people that are hurting. You'd probably be very good at communicating to people and encouraging, but communicating to people what they're capable of, especially if it's in your 12th house, seeing the best in people and communicating that to them. So yeah. So whenever you're looking for your life's purpose, I do highly recommend run your natal chart. Run your natal chart. You say, yes, that's my passion. I love it. So that's another gift. You need to write that down. That's another gift. Go write it down because that's amazing. That's amazing. You're already walking in your passion, and you can do it in so many different ways. Do you not know that those children whose lives you are impacting, oh yeah, you are right. Those children whose lives you are impacting, they're going to remember you for life. You're already making a mark that won't be erased. It won't be easily erased just by you loving them. There's so much power in that. That like to impact the new generations, there's so much power in that. When you show them love, when you pour love into them and you teach them things that they didn't know, you teach them what you didn't know that took you a long time to learn. You teach them how to manifest. You teach them how to speak good to themselves, how to love on themselves. I don't think there's really any greater purpose than actually teaching children or teaching the next generation the things we didn't know. Because in order for us to grow as people, as a society, everybody's purpose, everyone who's working on their healing, working on themselves, everybody who's deciding to be the best version of themselves that they can be at this moment. And I mean, that's most of us, right? When you start to pour that knowledge, that wisdom, that love into younger generations, and you teach them how to love themselves, how to set boundaries, how to protect themselves, their hearts, their minds, how to think, not what to think, you're fulfilling a huge part of the purpose for which we're here. We're supposed to be evolving. We're supposed to be evolving every day. We're supposed to be the human race, period. I mean, not just individually, yes, but humans. We're supposed to be evolving, not devolving. And the only way for us to do that is to make sure that future generations learn the lessons that took us forever to learn. Whether you have children, whether you have nieces and nephews, whether you have neighborhood kids or kids at the school that you teach at, when you pass on the hard life lessons, when you pass on the love, when you pass on the wisdom and the knowledge that you have attained, you are basically, it's like a copy and paste and print. You're basically equipping them with the same tools and you're teaching them how to use them. And that's big. How many of us have all these gifts and talents and we just don't know what to do with them? We don't know how to use them. We're waiting for somebody to tell us, what do I do? How do I do it? Imagine that once you learn it and you start to realize this lesson, imagine that you teach the next generations the things you didn't know. Me, that's me. Yeah. It was me as well. Imagine that you're doing it. Every time you go to work, every time you talk to your children, you are elevating them and teaching them the next lessons. Imagine that there had been an adult in your life 30 years ago, 20 years ago, however old you may be, when you were 5 years old, who saw your gifts, your natural inclinations, and they nurtured it. Imagine the difference. Now we have the opportunity to do that for this next generation. We owe it to them and to ourselves. We owe it to the earth around us. We owe it. That's just that I think that that's like really the only thing we really owe is to love. And that's like one of the greatest forms of love, to teach people the things that are going to help them to thrive. Yeah. What you think about that? What y'all think? So as far as life person, okay, got it. My Jupiter is in Sagittarius in the sixth house. Okay. So, look up sixth house. Is that family? Is that personal family, like siblings, or is that the fifth house, Becca? Look that up, because where that Jupiter is. So Sagittarius is going to give you the energy. That's a fire sign. It's going to give you the energy and the wherewithal to really get things done. The Jupiter is going to expand upon it. And see, unless Jupiter is restricted. If it's restricted, basically, if there's another planet restricting it in any of the other signs, then it may have some difficulty. But for the most part, Jupiter is going to expand upon that house. And usually, I believe that the sixth house is because it's in between partnership and it's in between children and house and home. So I believe that's family, but you have to look it up for me. Truly, yes, very good. I'm excited to teach the new generation. I had a psychic tell me that I love it when I meet teachers who are excited about their jobs. We'll be leading the new generation in spirituality in my local area. There you go. There you go, darling. Yeah. Yep. I think that you are already walking in your purpose. Now you just got to use your gifts and talents in ways, because for it to be in the 12th house, if you combine that gift or any of your gifts with that, let's say you tell me one of your gifts or one of your talents. How I get there with 5 children, I don't know. You're already doing it. What's one of your gifts and your talents? Dime, tell me these things. Because if one of your gifts and talents is puppetry, working with puppets, wellness, health, daily routines, and odd jobs. I thought that was okay. So Becca, so if that's where your Jupiter is, Becca, if your Jupiter is in wellness and health, then chances are you would be a nurse, and your wealth and your ability would come in the form of a nurse or a doctor or something in the health field. So I think that's hilarious. Chris, okay, so artist, painting. Baby, kids love paint. They love art. Imagine if you use that gift. You take it into your classroom. You get them those paints, or you get plastic baggies with paint in them, and you seal them and you put them on the table so they can get tactile with it, where they can't burst through it. Or you create a sensory table for them, or you teach them all the forms of art, not just painting, but mosaics, sand art. There's so much you can use that for. Tarot. Ooh, I like it. So I think I know what your channel might need to be if you decided to ever make TikToks. You're able to imagine if you created a whole new tarot deck. What if that was one of your life goals? You draw and you create a whole new tarot deck, or an oracle deck. Imagine. And piano. Come on, Chris. Becca said, but of course. You didn't even know it, right? Chris, piano. You're a phenomenal. What's a crazy story? I think that's so awesome. You're able to use your gifts and talents in the job that you're in right now. And this may not be your ultimate job. You may have different designs or different feelings, but what if you taught your kids how to love art in all its different forms, and you guys create a mural or a mosaic together? You create something with those kids that you now have at the school or on the wall, or you're able to create something that they're going to remember. There's so many different ways to use your gifts and talents right where you are, here and now, in the here and now, to make your life so much better. I couldn't afford to take it. Oh, Chris, baby, darling, you got this. You've been doing it the whole time. I want to see this deck. Please make a TikTok showing this deck, and you got to. Even if it's 10 seconds. I want to see it, because you're already walking in your purpose. You're just thinking that you're not. Battlefield's always here. that thing that you do naturally. Look at how powerful you are. Mm. Becca says she wants to see too. I'm just saying. Because imagine you made your own tarot deck. Imagine that your babies are going to get older. They're not going to be little forever. And it's like you do pieces, little bit by little bit, whenever you have the energy. It may take a year. It may take 5. It may take 10. I don't care. Do it. Take your time and do it, because I guarantee you, you're going to evolve and change as you do it. What's going to end up happening is that tarot deck is going to evolve and change, and your art style is going to get different. Next thing you know, you're going to have 2, 3 different types of tarot decks or oracle decks. And baby, people want what you have because you're the only one who can do it like you can do it. I'm just saying. Becca, what you do for a living? I'm just saying. Guys, the possibilities are endless. And a lot of times we don't realize we're already walking in our purpose, doing the things that we love to do, that take off the anxiety, the things that make us feel de-stressed, the things that make us feel good. That's it. You use that gift and you apply it however you want. There is no one way to use a hammer. There is no one purpose for which to use that hammer. Use it to build your house, not tear yourself down. Yes, ma'am, I will. Thank you for your guidance. I was so sad today, but you really uplifted me. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. You uplifted me too. I appreciate this. I really do. And Becca says she's a nurse. Ma'am, your Jupiter is in your 6th house and you're a nurse and you're already walking in your purpose. I'm just saying. Y'all, please go and pull up your natal chart. Pull up your birth chart. Look for your Jupiter. Look for your Venus. Also look for your Saturn, because that's probably where you have the most difficulty. But I promise you, once you conquer that, you are the pro. You're the pro. Those restrictions, where Saturn is the planet of discipline and restriction and order, right? And one thing that I had a note here about discipline, as a matter of fact, that I meant to say, discipline is one of the universal laws, by the way. In order to accomplish anything, you have to get into a certain state of discipline. And what I had written down was, this on here is, I devote my life to a daily practice of meditation and mindfulness to be responsible for my own thoughts, words, and actions. I will daily devote myself to build character and to improve myself. However I can for the good of all beings. While honoring discipline as a means to be focused on my path, I will work ceaselessly to keep these vows and to uphold my practice. Discipline is the number, and I'm not talking punishment. Punishment and discipline are 2 different things. So Sequoia team, whoop whoop. I love it. We're going to have to make a whole community, the Sequoia community. Took us a while. Oh, but we're the strongest out there, right? I love that. My Saturn is in Scorpio in the 5th house. Go look at what your 5th house is. That's probably where your restriction is. I'm just saying. And I wonder what other planets are there. Now, when it comes to discipline, I want you guys to understand, I'm going to end the live in a couple minutes, but I want you guys to understand, discipline is the number one way to show yourself that you love you. Discipline is not punishment. Punishment is something that should not have to occur, but discipline is what's supposed to happen so that punishment doesn't have to occur. I'm going to say it again. Discipline is what should happen so that punishment or negative consequences should not have to occur. When we discipline ourselves, our minds, our spirits, our bodies, when we discipline ourselves, what happens is we begin to, it's like laying bricks, a foundation for a good house. Discipline is consistency. I'm building consistency now for the last almost a year with my workout habits and my eating habits. And I had to undergo a few sessions of hypnotherapy to get me there. But it's one of those things where when you're disciplined in what you do, let's say you set aside 10 minutes every single day, just 10 minutes every day to sit with yourself and practice that thing that you really enjoy. It could be writing. You could be a poet. You could love writing. You could absolutely love writing. And you just spend 10 minutes writing. You're going to find that 10 minutes is going to turn into 20. And it becomes your meditation. Your favorite thing, your thing could be working out. If you just say, okay, for 10 minutes a day, I'm just going to do 10 minutes of a workout. If you do that, you're building up your discipline, and you find that it builds up. The love of my life, he says this to me all the time. He says, oh God, I don't want to misquote it, but I love poetry. Nice. So when was the last time you wrote, Becca? So he always says that it's better to do small increments every day, I'm paraphrasing, than to do a bunch of high intensity something just one time. Obviously, if I go to the gym and I run on the treadmill for an hour and then I go lift weights for 2 hours and then that's all I do for the rest of the year, I'm not going to see any results. But if I go to the gym for 15 to 30 minutes and I'm on the treadmill, or I just go and lift weights for that amount of time and I do that every day, now I'm building up a different type of foundation and I'm building discipline because now I'm honoring myself. I'm honoring the God in me, right? Exactly. I'm always trying to do too much. Listen, that has been my life lesson. I was just talking about that today. When you are doing too much, you spread yourself thin. And so my partner, he said something to me the other night. I had to write it down. He said, if you spread yourself thin, how can you expect to show up and for others to perceive you as thick? When you spread yourself thin, how can you expect to show up and for others to perceive you as thick? They can't, because they're going to see the weak points, the thin points. When you show up as thick and you're refreshed and you've put your mask on and you have allowed yourself to take time to build that discipline, it's powerful. And it takes time. Yes, it does make sense. Becca said, our fulfilling work of a creative project. Our fulfilling work. Oh, wait, I missed part of your thing, Becca. Did I? Because I see the ... I don't know if I missed part of it. But when you build up discipline and you take time to actually build yourself, what you're doing is you're honoring the God within, and you take that time to actually get to know you. Oh, let me scroll up. I don't know, Becca. It didn't show up for some reason. I see the I love poetry, but I'm definitely missing some part of it, Beck. I don't know if you reposted that. But when you allow yourself to take time to grow in discipline, I'm looking it up, Becca. So fifth house is all about what makes you feel good. Fulfilling. Okay, there's a little bit more to it than that, actually. Because yes, pleasure is part of it, but there's a little bit more of it to that. With the fifth house, so those zones kind of sit in between other houses, and when they sit in between other houses, it's going to combine something from those two houses. So in the fifth house, so it starts out with the first house, which is, you come into this world, and it goes further and further up into awareness of self, of others, and then of your higher self by the time you get to the 12th. And I don't know if you posted anything else, Becca, but the fifth house is all about the bloom, about you coming into your full glory. So you said that you're a late bloomer. Saturn is in your fifth house. Scorpio is the planet of, it's ruled by Pluto. It's the planet of, it's the sign of death, rebirth, transformation, sex, sensuality. If Saturn is there, it's going to give a restriction to things that are of a sensual, self-pleasuring nature. I'm going to pause on that. I hope you get what I'm saying. So when you said you're a late bloomer and your fifth house is how you're expressing that creativity, especially when it comes to dealing with Scorpio, just be aware that there could be a lot of restriction when it comes to sex, sexuality, sensuality kind of thing. So, yeah. Fun stuff. Woohoo, astrology. That was not my intention today, but I love it. I love it. I love where my conversations take me. So, as if you guys couldn't tell, by the way, I'm Sarah Green. I'm the owner of Green Hypnotherapy. That hypnotherapist chick, that hypnosis. And I'm your hypnosis sis. And guys, follow me. Thank you for joining this live. I'm about to end it, but I love you all. I'm so grateful that you joined my live. To everybody that commented and joined, all the likes, 3.2 thousand likes. Woo woo. And I'm here on Sundays where we do a meditation for the week and we get our minds right for the rest of the week. And then I come on Fridays. And Fridays is just where we do a check-in. We have a conversation. My goal is to build community. Thank you, Chris. Park Manifest. I appreciate you. Yes, please friend me so I can friend you back. And I appreciate you guys so much. But my goal is to build a community of like-minded, like vibrational people who are really wanting to build ourselves, to heal, to become the next level and become who we came here to be, to walk in our purpose and walk in who we came here to be. Removing self-limiting beliefs, removing self-limiting behaviors, because just walking in our full purpose. Like, can you imagine if all of us were doing that thing that sets our soul on fire? I can imagine it. I can imagine it. Whether you're a bread maker, a brick mason, a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, a teacher, whatever it may be, you can use your gifts. You can use your talents. Be very aware of who you connect yourself to, whether it's friend, whether it's lover, husband, wife, whatever it may be, because that's going to determine a lot about what you can do and what you become. And be very, very clear with yourself about who you are. Write your mission statements, write your gifts and talents. You're going to find that you are now able. Thank you, Rocky Rescindes. You're going to find that you're now going to be able to use your gifts and talents wherever you may be at. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters that you know who you are, what you are. You are God having a human experience. There's a spark from source inside of you having a human experience. It's time for you to enjoy it. It's time for you to enjoy your life. You deserve it. You're worthy of it. You are worthy of it. So, with that said, I love you all. Thank you, Becca. Good night, guys. You got this.